Now, after every sensible adventure, one should rest. Have tea. Check for missing limbs. Perhaps reconsider one's life choices. Jayson did none of that. Shayla did consider her life choices, mostly because Jayson was still in them. But while our two young scavengers were counting reward chips and pretending not to be impressed with each other, something rather important happened in Marn Vex's back room. The Vey-Core Compass woke up, again. Inside Marn's lockbox, the little device pulsed like it had remembered a secret. Then it projected a map. Not a normal map, not the sort that says, turn left at the market and avoid the soup stall. No, my loves. This map pointed beyond the bone flats, beyond the wreck fields, deep under the desert, to something old, something buried, something that had been sleeping longer than anyone sensible would like. Marn Vex saw it first, and immediately made the face of a man preparing to lie.
Well, that is probably nothing.
Whenever a black market dealer says probably nothing, it is almost always something expensive, illegal, or likely to bite. Sometimes all three. Marn reached to shut the lockbox, but he was not alone. Sparky had followed the signal. Tiny little thing, nosy little thing, very useful little thing. Sparky scanned the hidden map before Marn could hide it.
No. No. No, no, no. You did not see that.
Sparky saw it, recorded it, and vanished in a very guilty blink of blue light, which meant the next terrible idea was already on its way to Jayson.
I'm telling you, Sparky, she likes me.
Sparky found Jayson exactly where one might expect, near food, near trouble, and far too pleased with himself. Jayson had survived drowning, collapsing wreckage, desert beasts, guild riders, and Shayla's judgment. So naturally, he believed the day was going rather well. Sparky did not agree. Sparky rarely agreed with nonsense. Then the little drone opened its stolen map, and suddenly Jayson stopped smiling. Well, mostly stopped.
Oh, that looks expensive.
Across the settlement, Shayla saw the same signal light up on her scanner. Because clever girls do not leave suspicious alien devices completely unmonitored, Shayla arrived before Jayson had finished forming a bad plan, which, to be fair, did not take long.
You stole Marn's map?
Technically, Sparky borrowed it.
Did Sparky ask?
He has a very quiet negotiation style.
The map pointed beyond the bone flats, to a buried structure older than the warships, older than the settlement, possibly older than good judgment.
We recover the map data, confirm the site, and determine what the compass opened.
And if it contains valuable alien technology?
We document it.
I heard split it.
Shayla wanted answers. Jayson wanted treasure. Both pretended those were different things. Then came the important question, were they partners? Shayla said no. Jayson heard, not yet. There is a difference. A boy hears many things when he wants to.
So we're doing this together?
Professionally.
I can be professional.
You were wet for most of our last conversation.
And yet memorable.
That is when the guild alarm bells started ringing at the settlement gate. Because, of course, no terrible idea travels alone. The Scavenger Guild arrived at the gate in the way unpleasant people often do. Loudly, in formation, and far too proud of themselves. They blocked the only clean exit from the settlement, which was rude, also inconvenient.
The drone has stolen guild property.
He prefers borrowed. He stole it.
Professionally borrowed. Professionally borrowed.
Shayla looked at the gate, then at the guild, then at Jayson, which, sadly, was the least stable option.
We need another exit.
I know one.
Is it safe?
Define safe.
That is not something one wants to hear before getting on a hoverbike. The guild moved in. Sparky panicked very quietly. Jayson smiled, Shayla sighed, and together they made the first official decision of their new professional partnership. They ran, not away exactly, more sideways, through the market. Because Jayson's emergency exits were apparently
Shortcut!
also food stalls,
This is a
repair
kitchen.
bays, laundry lines,
A shortcut
and
with
several
snacks.
very confused fruit merchants. And just like that, the chase was on. Now the scrap quarter was not designed for racing. It was designed for fixing things, breaking things, losing tools, and blaming apprentices. So naturally, Jayson treated it like a racetrack.
Good news. Bikes are still where we left them.
That is the lowest possible standard for good news.
And yet, here we are, blessed.
Then they launched, through stacked engines, under hanging cables, past a mechanic who was absolutely not paid enough for this. Guild riders followed close behind because foolishness is contagious.
Your exit?
Still forming.
You said you knew one.
I know where it probably is.
I have heard better plans from toddlers holding scissors. A guild rider cut across their path. Shayla teleported a fuel cart out of the way.
Wow!
Jayson ducked beneath a repair crane. Sparky opened a service ramp at the last second.
I planned that.
Sparky planned that.
I inspired him. I love a scenic route.
You are one bad idea in boots.
Expensive boots.
No,
You haven't even heard the plan.
I saw the plan.
Efficient.
Sparky fired the chute release, and all three of them dropped out of the settlement wall into open desert. Alive, barely, but moving. Now escaping through a maintenance chute was not what I would call a clean exit. It was more of a falling argument with engines. But it did work. Jayson and Shayla burst into the open desert with the guild still shouting behind them. Which meant, for about 3 whole seconds, things were improving. Then the sky turned brown.
Is that weather?
That is not just weather.
I was hoping for weather.
Out beyond the wall, the desert had begun to move. Sand lifted first, then dust, then pieces of old ships, then bones. The locals called it a bone storm. A lovely name if one enjoys being exfoliated by history.
Hold on tight!
I'm right with you!
Sparky tried to scan a safe route. Poor little thing. The storm ate the signal almost immediately. Sparky flickered.
Sparky, buddy, tell me you still know where we're going.
He does not.
I was asking him.
I was answering reality.
The guild riders behind them turned back, which should tell you something. But Jayson and Shayla could not turn back. The gate was blocked, the map was active, and the buried signal ahead was pulling the compass data like a hook through the sand. So they rode into the storm. Because apparently, the universe had mistaken these two for sensible volunteers. Inside the bone storm, visibility vanished. Giant ribs appeared out of the dust without warning. Metal shards spun through the air. Old warship energy crackled between broken fragments. Shayla teleported a flying engine blade away from their path. Jayson threw up his force field just before a wall of bone dust struck
Good
them.
news.
I can't see the danger anymore.
That does not make it gone.
But it does make it surprising.
That boy could make a funeral nervous. Sparky, half blind and sparking, found a low trench between buried skeletons. The bone storm did not stop. That would have been polite. Instead, it loosened its grip just enough for Jayson and Shayla to see where the map had brought them, which, in my experience, is rarely comforting. Ahead of them, the trench widened. The sand dropped away. and something enormous appeared beneath the desert. Not a ship, not a bunker, not one of those little tourist ruins where people pretend old pots are exciting.
That is either a door,
Or,
a very dramatic wall.
it is a door.
I was giving it options.
No, my loves, this was a door. A proper door. A buried alien door carved into black stone and ancient metal, half covered by sand and wrapped in the bones of creatures that had died before the settlement had a name. Shayla stepped closer. She studied the patterns across the door. No hinges, no handle, no sensible instructions. Just ancient grooves, sealed plates, and one empty circular socket glowing faintly blue.
The compass was not pointing here.
No?
It was being called here.
That is the sort of sentence that makes wise people take several steps backward. Jayson took one step forward. Naturally.
So, we knock?
No.
Politely?
Still no.
Then Sparky projected the stolen map over the door. The orange pulse aligned with the empty socket. The buried structure answered. Sand slid away from the ancient plates. Blue-white light woke in the grooves. And the door opened one eye. Not a real eye, of course. A machine eye, which is not better. The first lock had awakened. And somewhere beneath their boots, the desert began to hum. Now, when an ancient buried door opens one machine eye and begins humming beneath your boots, the correct response is usually to leave. Immediately. Possibly while apologizing. Jayson, of course, leaned closer.
I think it likes us.
It is scanning us.
Some people show affection differently.
Then the sand in front of the door split open, not gently, not politely. It tore apart like the desert had remembered it was hiding teeth. Out rose 3 ancient defense pylons. Black metal, blue-white energy, very expensive looking, very unfriendly.
It is targeting the map.
Good. So not me personally.
You are standing next to the map.
That feels personal.
Poor Sparky. It had stolen one little secret and was now being judged by architecture. The first pylon fired. Jayson threw up his force field. The blast hit so hard, it pushed both hoverbikes backward through the sand. Shayla teleported Sparky out of the second beam's path. Sparky reappeared upside down and deeply offended.
Everybody still attached?
For now. For now.
I accept that as encouragement.
The pylons shifted. The door's grooves brightened, and the whole basin became one large glowing argument. Shayla studied the pattern. Because clever girls look for systems, Jayson looked for something to hit. Because boys. Sparky, meanwhile, found the answer.
Sparky found an alignment pattern.
Wonderful. I love patterns. From a distance.
The orange pulse from the stolen map was not a warning. It was a key. A moving key. The pylons were not guarding the door. They were waiting for the signal to be placed correctly.
We need to put the map pulse into the eye.
The one shooting at us?
Yes.
Just checking how much we hate ourselves.
So they did what any sensible professionals would do. One distracted the deadly ancient machine. The other flew directly at it. I shall let you guess which one Jayson volunteered for.
I'll be the distraction.
That may be your natural state.
Finally, recognition.
Jayson raced across the basin, shield flaring under blue-white blasts. Shayla guided Sparky toward the machine eye. The pylons turned. The sand shook. The door opened wider, and just before the defense system fired again, Sparky dropped the stolen pulse into the eye. The entire basin flashed blue. The pylons froze, and for one glorious second, nobody was being shot at.
I liked that second.
Enjoy it quickly.
Because the door had accepted the signal. But it had also invited them inside. And ancient doors, my loves, do not usually open for visitors without expecting something in return. Now, when a buried alien door opens after nearly vaporizing you, the sensible thing is still not to go inside. But by this point, Sensible had packed its little bag and left. Jayson and Shayla entered the ancient structure. Slowly, carefully, almost professionally, which, for Jayson, was tremendous personal growth.
For the record, I am being extremely careful.
You touched the wall.
With caution.
You poked it.
Scientifically.
Inside, the air was cold. The walls were black stone and dark metal, carved with grooves that glowed faintly blue. Not writing, not symbols. Something older than language, a machine memory. Sparky floated ahead, trying very hard not to look impressed, which is difficult when one is the size of a fruit and surrounded by a structure older than civilization. The stolen map pulsed again. The corridor answered. Blue-white lines ran under the floor like veins of light. Then the chamber opened. Not a room, a vault. A vast circular vault filled with hanging rings, sleeping consoles, suspended fragments of star maps, and a central pedestal waiting in silence. Shayla stepped toward the pedestal. Jayson followed. Too closely.
You are crowding me.
I am providing emotional support.
To whom?
Mostly me.
Sparky projected the stolen map above the pedestal. The chamber woke around them. One by one, ancient sites appeared in the air. Buried doors, lost machines, hidden cities under sand. And then Shayla saw it. The compass was not pointing to treasure. It was unlocking a network, a chain of ancient sites buried across the planet.
It is not a compass.
I feel misled by the name.
It is a key.
Keys are good. Keys open things, sometimes profitable things.
This opens everything.
That quieted him, briefly.
Everything.
The pedestal lowered. A glowing star-shaped socket opened in its center. Sparky's stolen map pulse hovered above it, waiting. And somewhere deeper in the structure, another system woke up. Not angry, not friendly, just aware. Which, in ancient machines, is rarely comforting.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but if you are enjoying our story, may I ask you to like and subscribe to our channel? Thank you.
I'm sorry, my loves. I don't know what Jayson is talking about subscribing, but he is a nice boy, so I am sure it's a worthy cause. Now back to our story. Now, while Jayson, Shayla, and Sparky were standing inside an ancient vault, making discoveries that could change the entire planet, the guild finally caught up. Late, of course. Bullies are often very punctual when taking credit, less so when doing the work. Outside the buried door, guild riders poured into the basin, dusty, angry, and deeply unaware that the building itself had opinions. Open it. The guild captain stepped toward the machine eye. The door scanned him, considered him, and declined. Not with words, mind you. Ancient machines are rarely that polite. The defense pylons woke again.
Did the door just reject him?
Yes.
I like this door.
Do not form an attachment.
The guild tried forcing the entrance. That went poorly. Blue-white energy snapped across the basin. One pylon fired a warning blast into the sand. Another sealed the outer path. The guild scattered, suddenly remembering several urgent appointments elsewhere. Inside the vault, the walls trembled. The star-shaped socket opened wider. The orange pulse hovered above it, waiting like a question. Shayla understood first.
It is choosing access.
Choosing us?
Choosing the signal.
I will accept being signal adjacent.
Then the guild captain made a very unwise decision. He fired into the open doorway. Honestly, some people should not be given equipment. The shot struck the inner frame. The vault shook. The suspended rings began spinning too fast. The deeper system answered again, and this time it was less patient. Sparky shrieked in beeps.
He destabilized the entry field.
On purpose?
Stupidity counts.
Noted.
The door began closing, the vault began locking down, and Jayson, Shayla, and Sparky had exactly one sensible option: leave immediately, possibly while apologizing.
Professional retreat?
Run!
That's my favorite kind.
They raced back toward the entrance as the ancient structure sealed behind them. Sparky carried the stolen pulse. Shayla cleared the path. Jayson, for once, did not stop to touch anything, which I consider growth. They burst out of the doorway just before it slammed shut. The guild stood outside, the pylons stood awake, and the desert hummed like it had not finished with anyone yet. Now there are many uncomfortable places to stand. Between angry guild scavengers and ancient defense pylons is very near the top of the list. Jayson and Shayla stood outside the sealed door. The guild stood in front of them. The pylons stood behind everyone. And Sparky, poor little thing, was still holding the stolen pulse like a child caught with forbidden sweets.
So, we all agree this went better than expected?
No.
Then we agree quickly.
The guild captain raised his weapon again, because some people learn nothing even when ancient machinery is glowing directly at them.
He is going to fire again.
I admire his commitment to poor decisions.
Before he could shoot, the buried door answered. Not to him, not to the guild, to the pulse. Sparky's stolen signal lifted out of its projection and floated above the basin. The defense pylons stopped aiming. The machine eye opened wider, and the desert sky filled with light. A star map unfolded above them. Not a little map, not a helpful "you are here" map, a tremendous alien map stretching over the basin like a second sky. Buried sites lit across the planet, one by one, doors, machines, sleeping cities, power lines beneath the sand.
That is a lot of treasure.
That is a network.
A network of treasure.
Jayson.
Fine, a very serious network of treasure.
Then the map changed. The planet shrank inside the projection. The stars appeared, and one orange signal flashed far above the world, off-planet, beyond the wreck fields, beyond the old battlefield. Something out there had answered the key. For once, Jayson did not joke immediately, which was how Shayla knew it was serious.
Treasure.
That signal is not buried.
It is in orbit.
No, farther.
Farther than orbit is usually where problems become expensive.
The guild saw the map too, which was inconvenient. Greedy people should never be given big ideas. The captain lunged for Sparky. That was also unwise. The pylons turned on the guild, not firing to kill, just making a very clear point. Blue-white warning beams carved the sand between the guild and the scavengers.
I think the door picked a side.
It picked the signal.
I remain happily signal adjacent.
Shayla did not wait for the guild to recover. She mounted her bike. Jayson mounted his. Sparky zipped between them, still carrying the pulse. And together they rode out through the basin while the star map burned above the desert. The guild shouted, the pylons hummed, the ancient door sealed itself again, and somewhere far beyond the sky, the off-world signal pulsed once more.
So, professionally speaking,
No.
you did not let me finish.
I heard the shape of it.
That feels unfairly accurate.
They had found the buried door, survived the bone storm, annoyed the guild, awakened an ancient network, and discovered that something beyond the planet had just noticed them. A successful second outing, really, for scavengers.